is it going? Welcome back to Beach ASMR. In today's video, I thought we could go over the opening round of the AFL season. I'm not massively sure how this video is going to work, but I've got the articles from AFL.com open on the iPad, and I thought we could read through and have a bit of a chat about some of the main talking points of the opening round. I think the real winner here is footy. Not a great weekend for myself as a Tigers fan, but still really, really great to have footy back. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm going to look at the games in chronological order. So we're going to start off with Sydney versus the D's. So the Swans versus the D's, and Grundy gets the last laugh as Swans roll D's at a packed SCG. So Sydney kicked off 2024 with a 22-point win over Melbourne in the opening round. And here we've got a picture of Chad Warner and Brodie Grundy celebrating a goal during the opening round. So Brodie Grundy won the rock battle and Sydney won the match. The clash between Grundy and former teammate Max Gawn was a pivotal duel, even if it took until the last term for it to greatly influence the result, as Sydney surged late to clinch a 22-point triumph over Melbourne in the season opener on Thursday night. It was instead the Swans' undermanned midfield, bolstered by Isaac Heaney, spending more time at the cold face, that propelled the host to a 12-14-86 to 9-10-64 win in front of more than 40,000 fans at the SCG. Heaney lined up at the first centre bounce and went on to be the most impactful player around the stoppages, in a role that has been much teased since his debut season in 2015. The 27-year-old led the way against the Demons' star-studded midfield in the absence of skipper Callum Mills, Luke Parker and Taylor Adams, with 26 disposals, 13 clearances and a goal. Superb display, that is some numbers. Chad Warner, with 26 disposals and a goal, added valuable support in the second half after only 8 touches before the break, as Tom Papley also spent time in the middle while adding a spark up forward. I really think that Tom Papley is probably one of the most dangerous forwards in the competition. He really is a bit of a weapon. Halfback Nick Blakey was just as crucial after half-time, as the Swans looked to lower their eyes more when moving the ball forward after Demons defender Stephen May had dominated the air. Clayton Oliver showed few signs of a disrupted preseason as he returned to the Demons senior setup for the first time this year and immediately made his mark. The star midfielder might not have been as clean as usual, but made his presence felt, with 29 disposals and 6 clearances as the Demons stayed in touch until the final term. I'm going to eat my words here a little bit because you might remember in my other AFL video I predicted the D's to be the biggest sliders, and mainly that was because of Clayton Oliver's off-field and the general Demons off-field dramas. However, it looks like they may not be such a big issue despite them losing to this very talented Sydney team. Okay, I think I'm going to skip down to the main stats here. Oh, there we go, Bailey Frisch putting 4 goals. So, here we go, we'll just scroll down. We will point out James Jordan though. So Jordan was a Demons player, but he's moved to the Swans. So he had a point to prove against Melbourne after struggling to consistently break into its best 22 in 5 seasons. He played 18 matches for the D's last season, but was named as starting sub 6 times and was painstakingly left on the bench as the 23rd player in the 2021 Premiership side. Although Jordan made a slow start in his first match, he went on to finish with 18 disposals, which is pretty good for a winger. The 23-year-old might not be the Swans' most high-profile recruit, but showed enough to suggest he would be an important addition for the midfield balance. So the final scores were 86 to 64. In terms of goals, Sydney had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different goal kickers. Hayward and McLean both got 2, whereas Florent, Fox, Heaney, McDonald, McInerney, Papley, Warner and Wicks all got 1. For Melbourne, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual goal kickers, with Rich kicking 4, Viney 2, Langdon 1, Petrarca 1 and Van Rooyen got 1. Here we can see that Sydney's best were Heaney, Grundy, Blakey, Warner, Papley, Florent and Rampy, whereas Melbourne had Viney, May, Salem, Petrarca, Oliver and Gorn. Petrarca is a bit of a legend, isn't he? And I tell you what, I do like seeing his cooking TikToks. He makes some tasty looking food if you haven't seen already. In terms of injuries, we never like to see these, but we have Bowie with his shoulder. And in terms of subs, we had Sam Wicks and Jack Billings. It's good to see Jack Billings getting a game after all of his injury issues. Okay, let's move on. The second match, we're going to have a look at Blues versus Lions. And wow, this was an absolute ringer. Can you believe it? Coming down, it was from 46 points or something. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Okay, here we go. Is this the right article? This isn't even the right article. Let me bring the right article up. So you go match center. And then, come on. There we go. Bloody hell. Okay, so Harry the hero as Blues produce epic comeback to stun the Lions. Harry McKay conquered the goal-kicking Yips, and Carlton conjured one of the great wins in its storied history, overturning a 46-point deficit to take down Brisbane by a solitary point at its Gabba Fortress on a Friday night. Now, I don't think Brisbane have lost at the Gabba for a long time. The number 13 is in my head, and I don't know if it's 13 games, 13 weeks. Definitely won't be 13 years. I might be totally off. But anyways, with just 90 seconds remaining and his team trailing by 5 points, McKay took a powerful mark and went back to calmly slot the match winner from 45 meters. That is incredible. What a kick. There we go. It snapped Brisbane's 14 consecutive wins at its home ground. I'm just going to have some water real quick. Now that is some result. So it was a rough season opener. So things we never like to see is Kitty Coleman. And that is, I saw it's confirmed, he has torn his ACL. So that's his season over. And I will admit that was a hit for my fantasy team. And then also, really sadly, Sam Doherty is out for a while as well. So it's really sad to see that these two, their seasons are pretty much over. The Blues looked absolutely gone early in the second quarter after successive Lincoln McCarthy goals had them trailing by 46 points. But that's when the magic started and there was an extraordinary comeback. Curnow, King Charlie, as he's known, kicked 4 goals either side of half-time to turn the tide, forcing Brisbane to move Jack Payne off him and swing Darcy Gardiner into defence. You can see how dominant their midfield was, 27, 25 and 23 disposals. Wow. Even though Big Joey Danaher stopped the rot with a towering mark. Wow, you see this Tom De Koning there trying to spoil but not quite getting there. the exchanging of goals, and Brisbane could not have been more impressive, kicking 7 goals too for a 32-point advantage. Now, a lot of people have the Blues as potential flag favourites this year, so that is very, very impressive. Very, very, very impressive. So let's keep scrolling. We'll come down here. I think I spent too long on that first match. I only want this video to be about 20 minutes maximum. So let's have a look. In terms of goals, we have for Brisbane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 individual goal scorers, with McCarthy, Cameron and Zorko all scoring 2, and then Rayner, McCluggage, Hipwood, Danaher, Bailey and Archie scoring 1 apiece. I tell you what, geez, the Brizzy, the Lions have got a good squad, really good squad. And then let's have a look. Carlton had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 individual goal kickers. Kerner kicking 4, Mackay kicking 3, Kennedy, Fogarty, Cunningham, Cripps, Cottrell and Carroll all kicking 1. The best, we had Wilmot, Neil, Zorko, Cardinal, Archie and Andrews, and Kerner, Cripps, Mackay, Hewitt, Youngside and Chera. So sad always to see the injuries to Coleman and Doherty, and I truly wish them the best and hope their recovery is very quick. Let's move on now to the third game. So this is Dimmer's first game as Gold Coast Suns coach, and this is the one game that I did watch live on telly. The other ones, I watched a little bit of the Sydney-Melbourne game, but I was at work, so I was doing work and kind of had it on my phone, and I watched a little bit of the GWS game, but I didn't get to see any of the Brisbane Carlton game. So I watched all of this game, and as a Tigers fan, I was having a terrible time up until the third quarter. So the Damien Hardwick era on the Gold Coast has started with a bang, but not before a big fright from his former club Richmond at People First Stadium on Saturday. So the Suns blew the Tigers out early doors, and even though Shea Bolton kicked the first goal for the Tigers, the Suns cruised to a 67-point advantage just before half time. However, the Suns watched that margin dwindle all the way to 23 early in the last quarter, so the Tigers surged. Okay. However, Malcolm Roses Jr. kicked a goal after Nathan Broad was adjudged with deliberately rushed behind. The Suns steadied to win 15 goals, 14 behind, so 99 to the Tigers' 9 goals and 6 behinds of 60. It was a roller coaster afternoon, with Gold Coast kicking 11 consecutive goals in a blistering first half, and the Tigers responding with a run of 7 that bridged half time. Matt Ryle put on a midfield clinic, winning a staggering 20 clearances from his 33 disposals to give his team first use of the ball most of the afternoon. Watching that game, Matt Ryle was unstoppable. He looked like a man possessed. He was just ridiculous, and I think the Suns are not very lucky to have him because they deserve him with the picks that they had, but I'm very certainly jealous of the Suns, and I know there'll probably be a lot of people who are jealous to have Ryle in there because he was a total weapon. Sam Flanders, Noah Anderson and Tuck Miller all put up their snouts in the disposals, Truff alongside Ryle, hunting as a midfield pack to link up the ball and swarm defensively without it. Ben King kicked 5 goals in a promising display, while Lukosius and Roses Jr. added 3 apiece. So the Tigers were missing some of their biggest artillery with Dusty, Lynch and Nankervis, but there's just no excuse. It was a tough watch. That first half was not nice as a Tigers fan. However, the work rate lifted, okay, and Shea Bolton, Jacob Hopper and Daniel Rioli fueled that comeback. Rioli through the middle was dangerous. So dangerous. As the work rate lifted, they moved the ball in a really challenging way. Vlosten, I'd say, was a standout in defence, and it was also really nice on defence to see Gibcus back as well. That was really good to see. but it was just too big of a margin. Honestly, Raoul, after that first term, Raoul is my Brownlow. My early pick Brownlow, I'm going Raoul. This annoyed me, Dylan Grimes' brain fade. It's just silly stuff that I don't want to see from my team. You know, the shoving someone back is just silly. And this made me laugh. Dusty's appearance, so it's, if you're an AFL fan, you'll have heard the rumours of Dusty going up to the Gold Coast probably for the last 3 years on the trot. But they're really manifesting it now, as you can see from this picture of Dusty. I got out Dusty decked out in Gold Coast gear. There we go. So let's have a look. So we had a score of 14-15, 99, and then we had 9-6, 60 overall from the score. In terms of goals, Gold Coast had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual goal kickers in King, Roses Jr., Lukosius, Fiorini and Holman. Whereas Richmond had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well, with Bolton, Hopper, Campbell, Pickett and Bolter. And how good was that to see Seth Campbell making his debut, getting 2 goals. Good on him. In terms of best, we had Rowell, Powell, Flanders, Anderson, King and Buderick. Whereas for Richmond it was Flostone, Hopper, Bolton, Rioli and Short. I got to say as well, shout out to Jack Ross, because when he came on replacing Samson Ryan, he injected some much needed energy into that Richmond side, so that was really great to see. I've got one more game to look at now, and that is GWS taking on the Pies, and oh my days, I love to see the Pies lose. That was, it just always hits, it's just brilliant, consistently. So GWS had an early warning shot across the competition with a resounding 32-point victory over the reigning Premier Collingwood on Saturday night. The orange tsunami was flowing as the Giants surged away with 9 of the 11 goals either side at half time, and they blew away the Magpies for an 114-82 triumph in front of 21,000 fans, which is brilliant to see for GWS. So Irish forward Callum Brown sparked with 3 goals and finished with a 5-goal haul. What a performance. Jesse Hogan as well added 4, and Brent Daniels also added a career high 4, and that really took advantage of the Magpies' injury-riddled defence. However, the win came at a cost, with former skipper Callan Ward, a really important player for the Giants, staying on the bench in the second half after Beau McCreary dumped him. It's not ideal. However, Tom Green, Stephen Cornelio, Kieran Briggs were buzzing at the coalface, while we had Josh Kelly, Lockie Ash and Lockie Whitfield also putting in the hard yards. Good on them. Braden Maynard was one of the few Magpies backs who could hold their head high, shutting down Toby Green while also adding plenty of run with 16 disposals and a late goal. Good on him. So we had Nick and Josh Dacos battling hard, and Darcy Cameron was immense in the ruck. It's really great to see, always fantastic to see when a new player comes out and is sensational, so well done on Callum Brown. Just his second AFL match. Just his second. Oh no. He announced himself in his second. 19 goals in 19 matches last year. Okay. But he's announced himself here with 5 goals. Good on him. And then Schultz blowing hot and cold. Not good. So 15 disposals. However, and 3 behinds is not great. Probably not good enough. In terms of goals, GWS had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 individual goal kickers. Brown having 5, Hogan 4, Daniels 4, Cadman 2, Kelly, Green and Green each getting 1 apiece. And then Collingwood had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with Myercheck getting 3, Hill getting 2, Darcy Cameron getting 2, Mitchell, McCreary, Maynard and Nick Dacos getting 1. GWS's best were Brown, Green, Hogan, Daniels, Kelly, Canelio, Ash and Whitfield, so a strong best there. While Collingwood's Nick Dacos, Cameron, Maynard, Josh Dacos, Schultz and Lipinski also added heat. Injuries, which we never like to see, just Callan Ward. And Collingwood got away scot-free. So, there you have it. A little rundown of our opening round matches in the AFL. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.